Welcome to the Explainer. So, look, Wyoming is vast, it's absolutely beautiful, and it's expansive. Sometimes you're driving for hours, passing way more antelope than actual people just to get to a college campus. And, that sweeping geography can honestly make accessing higher education a bit of a challenge, depending on where you happen to live. But today, we're turning that geographic challenge into an incredible opportunity. I am super thrilled to be with you as we unpack Navigating Wyoming Dual Enrollment, a guide for families. Really, you should consider this your ultimate toolkit for getting a massive head start on college while you're still in high school. We're talking about saving precious time, reducing future tuition costs, and doing it all right here in the Equality State.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is the roadmap we are taking today. First, we'll be defining dual enrollment. Second, why choose it. Third, how the system works. Fourth, crucial questions to ask. And finally, number 5, the bottom line.
All right, first stop on our journey, Section 1, Defining Dual Enrollment and what we call the PEOP umbrella. To really grasp how this all works in Wyoming, we first need to clarify a pretty vital acronym, POP. It stands for the Post-Secondary Education Options Program. Think of PEOP as this giant state-level umbrella, and tucked right underneath that umbrella, you'll find both dual enrollment and concurrent enrollment. Now, the absolute beauty of this whole overarching program comes down to one word: simultaneously. When a class is offered through an approved PEOP arrangement, the student is earning high school credit and college credit for doing the exact same coursework. Two birds, one stone. So if you know you want to pursue a degree or a certificate or maybe a technical program after high school, wrapping your head around this umbrella is your very first step to a much smoother transition.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it breaks down the two specific types of courses under that umbrella. People actually use the terms dual and concurrent interchangeably all the time in casual conversation, but in Wyoming's education system, they mean entirely different things. So look over at the left side, post-secondary dual enrollment. That means the course is taught by an actual college instructor, and it typically happens at a college campus or a community outreach center. On the right, though, post-secondary concurrent enrollment means the course is taught right at your local high school by a high school teacher who has been specifically approved by the college. The rigorous college-level content? Exactly the same. The true difference lies entirely in who teaches the course and where you happen to sit while you learn it.
Moving right along to Section 2, Why Choose It? Let's talk about the value proposition.
The practical benefits here are honestly just tremendous. First and foremost, you can significantly shorten the time it takes to earn a degree. By knocking out those college requirements early, you are literally buying back your future time. Second, and I think this is such a critical advantage, it gives students a highly realistic test drive of college life. You get to experience the much faster pacing, the heavier reading loads, the stricter grading standards of a college course, all before you ever have to leave the comfort of your high school support system. And third, it enthusiastically encourages career exploration. Whether you're interested in healthcare, education, business, agriculture, energy, or the skilled trades, you can dip your toes into these specific Wyoming career pathways and see if they're actually the right fit before committing full-time tuition dollars to them.
And this brings us right back to how Wyoming is uniquely tackling its geography. We mentioned earlier that communities here can be spread incredibly far apart. Well, with virtual delivery, that geography doesn't have to be a barrier anymore. State guidance explicitly supports delivering these dual and concurrent courses virtually. What that means is, even if you live in a rural community hours and hours away from the nearest physical college campus, the college curriculum can come directly to your laptop. It dramatically expands post-secondary access, ensuring that your educational opportunity absolutely isn't dictated by your zip code.
All right, Section 3, How the System Works. Let's get into the mechanics. Let's go a little under the hood to look at the mechanics of the state program. And honestly, if there's one mechanical piece you remember about how this entire system operates, let it be this: the MOU, or Memorandum of Understanding. This formal agreement is the essential engine making the whole system work. For a course to officially count as dual or concurrent enrollment in Wyoming, there absolutely must be an MOU firmly in place between your local school district and either a Wyoming Community College district or the University of Wyoming. This just ensures both institutions recognize the rigor of the course. If there is no MOU, those credits just aren't guaranteed to count for both. It is really that cut and dry. So, the crucial point is understanding what exactly qualifies. Notice that to qualify for the PEP program, the class has to be equivalent to a 1,000-level or above college course. Basically, it has to be a genuine college offering, not just a high school class slapped with a fancy label. And as we just learned, it must be backed by that formal MOU.
Conversely, think about Advanced Placement, or AP, and International Baccalaureate, IB. Look, these are fantastic, highly rigorous programs, absolutely. But state guidance strictly separates them from the PEP dual enrollment structure. They just do not qualify as dual or concurrent enrollment in this specific state system. They are entirely separate paths. To keep all of this meticulously organized, the Wyoming Department of Education uses highly specific reporting codes, which have already been specifically detailed for the 2025-26 school year. Now, I know for parents and students, these reporting details happen entirely behind the scenes, but I wanted to highlight this point because it should give you tremendous peace of mind. You see, this isn't just some informal handshake agreement between a teacher and a professor. It's a highly structured state system with strict accountability, accurate data collection, and robust program oversight. That formal structure ultimately protects you, ensuring that when a student earns a credit, it is officially and properly documented on their record forever.
Moving to Section 4, Crucial Questions to Ask. Think of this as your family checklist.
Because course delivery and partnerships can vary wildly by district, a cautious approach is going to be your best friend here. Seriously, take a mental snapshot of this checklist right now. When you sit down with your school counselor, I want you to run through these rapid-fire questions. Is this specific course part of an approved agreement? Will the credit actually count toward my high school graduation requirements? Will the college credit easily transfer to the Wyoming college or other institution I actually plan to attend? Are there hidden fees, book costs, or transportation required to get to an outreach center? What are the strict deadlines and placement prerequisites? And very importantly, what happens to my high school transcript if I find the college workload too heavy and I need to withdraw? Getting all these answers early entirely prevents massive headaches regarding your graduation progress down the road.
It's also deeply important to objectively weigh the pros and cons. I mean, the potential benefits are massive, right? Early college credit, invaluable exposure to actual college rigor, and significant tuition savings down the line. But we have to be real. It is not the perfect fit for every single student. You have to actively consider the possible drawbacks. The workload will be undeniably heavier. The pacing will be much faster than a typical high school class. And importantly, while transferability within Wyoming colleges is generally very strong, thanks to those agreements, if a student plans to leave the state for college, you must verify out-of-state transfer policies early. A course might count perfectly at the University of Wyoming, but maybe not at an out-of-state private college. Verify early and choose carefully.
And that brings us to Section 5, the bottom line and expanding opportunity.
So who is the ideal candidate to sign up for these courses? Well, it's the student who is naturally motivated, inherently organized, and genuinely interested in getting a head start on their academic future. Dual enrollment is this incredibly powerful bridge between high school and college. It takes so much of the anxiety out of the transition by allowing students to confidently step onto that collegiate bridge while still having the familiar, sturdy safety net of their high school environment firmly beneath them. In a large and geographically diverse state like Wyoming, it really is a brilliantly practical tool to expand educational horizons.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought. You've seen the roadmap. You understand the PEP mechanics under the hood. You know the true difference between dual and concurrent, and you have your counselor checklist totally ready to go. The opportunity is sitting right there in front of you, supported by formal state agreements and really robust educational structures. So, I'll leave you with this question. Is your student ready to take the leap into college-level work today? It's a big question, I know, but it's exactly the right time to spark that curiosity and start the academic planning conversation at the dinner table tonight. Thanks for letting me guide you through this explainer, and happy planning.